Okay, on behalf of veterans and their family members, I want to thank the Royal Oak Community United Methodist Church for inviting me to speak at this service. And my special thanks to Reverend Tim. My presentation today is going to cover 4 topics. Number 1, who is the veteran? Number 2, what is Veterans Day? Number 3, why do we need the veteran? And number 4, how do you honor a veteran that is important to you? If you've been in the military, you'll understand why I'm doing it this way. Number 1, who is the veteran? Many words and phrases are used to describe military service, such as honor, patriotism, duty, commitment, and courage. These words represent the values reflected in the act of military service. Every service member, active, reserve, and National Guard, upon taking their oath of enlistment or commission, kind of like what the Centurion did, sets aside something of value for the sake of something greater. Service members sacrifice a degree of personal freedom because they believe in the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness hold a greater value. Only 1% of the population serves in the military, and of those who do, nearly 1/3 have parents who also served. This makes military families, our veterans' families, a significant part of our American history and the future of our nation. We commonly accept that service members will sacrifice holidays at home and living where they would like. We accept that they will face physically and emotionally difficult training. Of course, all veterans remember their first drill sergeant and the first time they got in the front-leaning rest position. And we also accept that they will be deployed to hostile environments. For the past 30 years, service members have been deployed repeatedly, sometimes without a break or any recovery time. Today's men and women in the military have excellent training, the best equipment, and able leadership. And they have another great advantage. They have the example of American veterans who came before. From the very day that George Washington took command, the uniform of the United States military has always stood for courage and decency, and a shining hope in a world sometimes engulfed in darkness. And all who have worn that uniform have earned the appreciation of the American people. When our veterans talk about their military experience and how it has shaped their life, what do you think they say are the 3 factors that have contributed to it? It won't surprise you. First, they say military gave them a sense of discipline and a sense of duty. Second, they say the military gave them a history to live up to and a sense of mission and pride in serving for the United States people. And third, they say the military gave them a sense of camaraderie. Whenever and wherever the nation has called, in times of darkness and danger, as well as in times of peace and prosperity, American veterans have been there. 20 million military veterans walk among us, and on this week's Veterans Day, our nation salutes them all. Number 2, what is Veterans Day? The first Veterans Day was declared a National Day of Remembrance by President Woodrow Wilson 100 years ago in 1919. We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Gamblers know that in a game of craps, the number 11 rolled by a pair of dice is a winner. It is lucky. It was hoped in 1918 that Lucky 11 would keep us out of future wars. Obviously, that did not happen. In the years since President Wilson made the 11th of November a National Day of Remembrance, the scope of our observance has changed. From a day set aside to remember the dead from one war to a day in which American veterans from all wars, as well as those who served in times of peace, could be honored. Veterans Day is set aside to remember every man and woman who has taken up arms to defend our country. We honor every soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Merchant Marine, and Coast Guardsman who gave some of the best years of their lives to the service of the United States and stood ready to give life itself, on our behalf. President John F. Kennedy once said that a nation reveals itself not only by the people it produces, but also by the people it honors, the people it remembers. Number 3, why do we need the veteran? Most Americans admit openly to loving and respecting our veterans, especially on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And while their feelings are usually sincere, it is important to remember that service members are about to be veterans, are defending us 365 days a year. The heroism that has been demonstrated time and again by veterans from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism is sometimes unnoticed by those of us who enjoy the security that their sacrifice has provided. Within the past few days, the following headlines were noted by national news agencies. American commando raid kills ISIS leader. North Korea threat of above-ground bomb test is serious. Taliban fighters mass in western Afghan province. Pakistan says it shot down an Indian spy drone. These are just some of the stories that are in the headlines. Our nation will continue to need veterans because we will continue to need service members. It is our military strength that gives all of us peace of mind. I will say that again. It is our military strength that gives us all peace of mind. Before I get to my final topic, how do you honor a veteran, I want to provide you with some military definitions so that when you're speaking with a veteran, you'll understand the language. First, "Oh dark 30" or "stupid o'clock." That means it's ridiculously early in the morning. A grunt, that's an Army or Marine infantryman. Chow is food. A slick sleeve is a new recruit with no rank. A short timer is someone counting days until out of service or returning to the United States. It's said that short timers can live in a matchbox. And it says that short timers, if you're really short, can sit on a piece of paper and dangle your feet. That is really short. BCGs, they're birth control glasses. Those are your military issue glasses. A cover is headgear. SOS is chipped beef on toast. And a lot of veterans still carry these things around. This is called a P38. It is a can opener, and they still carry them. A lot of times they'll just hook them to their dog tags. If you're gone Elvis, it means you're missing in action. If you're Bones, you're a doctor. If you're a butter bar, you're a second lieutenant or an ensign. And KP is kitchen police. If I got your 6, it means I've got your back. And a leg is a non-airborne soldier. And Tango Yankee is phonetic alphabet for thank you. So on to number 4, how do you honor the veteran? We owe our nation's veterans a debt we can never repay. We can and should remember them and what they did and why they had to be brave for us. But we must honor them with deeds, not just words. So how do Americans properly thank their veterans this day? It can be as simple as saying, thank you for your service, but that's just the beginning. Americans can thank its veterans by living their lives and enjoying America's greatness. You can thank veterans by taking full advantage of all your rights that they defended. You need to vote in every election. You need to write letters to the editor of your local paper. You need to volunteer your time for a worthy cause. You need to fulfill your jury duty. You need to enjoy and practice your religious freedom. You need to be a volunteer firefighter. You need to mentor a child. And you need to represent your country well whenever you travel abroad. Live your lives and be good Americans. Then all veterans will be proud to know that their sacrifices were not in vain. This is the thanks you can give. Live your lives well, as productive American citizens should. It wasn't very long ago when I returned from the Vietnam War that I, along with many veterans, some of you in this audience, were met with hate and disrespect because many Americans did not believe in the war. Unfortunately, they hated both the war and the warrior. Times have changed. Today, I'm glad to say, Americans openly appreciate the the sacrifices that the warriors make. So for the veterans here, listen up. We stood our watch. Now, we need to know how to respond when someone says, thank you for your service. Here are some responses other than you're welcome. Your response can be, it was an honor to serve, or it was a privilege to serve, or I'm humbled to serve a grateful nation. Veterans, I think the most important thing is that you acknowledge the person thanking you in whatever way that sounds the most appreciative and sincere coming from you. Finally, veterans have provided Americans with freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. Speaking for all veterans, I ask you to please remember us. Please appreciate us. God bless you all for being here. God bless our veterans, and God bless America.